It was a Tuesday afternoon in Brooklyn, the kind of day when the sun burned through smog just enough to make your shirt stick to your back. Inside Cliffside Boxing and Performance Gym, the air was thicker, steeped in the smell of sweat, ego, and overpriced protein shakes. Gloves pounded heavy bags. Trainers barked orders. Mirrors caught every flex, every pose, every drop of vanity, and no one noticed when she walked in. Lena Moore, 5'3", 132 pounds of quiet. She didn't storm in. She didn't strut. She just moved, like she'd been walking through shadows her whole life. Her sneakers squeaked against the polished floor, soles worn nearly flat. Her boxing shorts hung loose, the hem stitched and restitched. A plain white tee faded and fraying. Her gloves dangled from her wrist, patched, scuffed, unloved. And then there was the scar. Faint but real, sliced across her chin like a memory. Someone tried to forget. She looked like she'd taken a wrong turn into someone else's story. Up front, a cluster of influencers perfected their form in front of full-length mirrors. Tank tops, designer leggings, fake lashes, real filters. They posed between reps, sipping from pastel-colored shaker bottles. Further back, real fighters sparred. Bloody knuckles, swollen faces, mouths tight with purpose. It was a gym divided, between those who bled for the sport and those who hashtagged it. Lena didn't belong to either side, which meant to them, she didn't belong at all. She approached the front desk. Kyle barely looked up, jawline tight, arms vascular and tanned, Cliffside logo stretched across his chest. Next to him, Chloe ranted about the lighting ruining her TikTok footage. "Hi," Lena said softly. Her voice didn't rise, but it cut. "I'd like to register for a sparring round." Kyle paused. Pen in midair. He scanned her from bottom to top, shoes, gloves, tee, like reading a joke with a bad punchline. "This ain't a cardio class," he said. "You sure you're in the right place?" Chloe laughed, loud, sharp, unapologetic. "Oh, honey," she said, "you're gonna get flattened." Behind them, a few trainees snickered. "Yo, cosplay boxer over here thinks she's Rocky," one mumbled. Another added, "She looks like the janitor's sister." Lena didn't flinch. Then the laughter grew louder. A sharp bark that carried across the gym. Jason Creed, 26, 6'1", 80 kilos of lean, cocky muscle. Cliffside's golden boy. Self-proclaimed champ with more highlight reels. Then Hart. He leaned against a heavy bag, gleaming gloves in hand. "You want to spar?" he called. "You're what, 90 pounds soaking wet? I breathe too hard. You snap in half." The crowd erupted. Phones lifted. Trainers laughed. One guy shouted, "Don't break her, Jason. She's got a desk job to get back to." Lena looked at Jason. Just looked. "Are you willing to take a round with me?" Silence. Then snickers. It wasn't a challenge. It was a whisper wrapped. "Steel," Jason grinned. "Oh, I'll take a round. Let's give him a show." And just like that, a storm began to build around a woman no one had noticed. Lena didn't blink. She didn't laugh nervously, didn't stammer. She simply nodded, her expression unreadable, as if Jason's theatrics were background noise and nothing more. She signed the waiver with a firm hand, her name landing on the way. Page like a quiet warning. The gym buzzed with anticipation, but it was the wrong kind. The kind that smells like blood before a dogfight. Phones were out. Smirks were on full display. Jason stretched with deliberate arrogance, flexing for the audience more than warming up. He bounced on his toes like a prizefighter ready for a walkover. "Don't blink, folks," he called out. "This'll be over before her shoes finish squeaking." More laughter. Even Tony, the head coach, let a grin slip, arms crossed, leaning back like this was just another show. A trainer named Vince whispered to another, "This is gonna be brutal." In the far corner, Lena adjusted her gloves with slow precision. She rolled her wrists, then her shoulders. Every movement was methodical, as if warming up a machine that hadn't been used in a while but was built to last. Still, no one really watched her. Not yet. "Jason's gonna fold her like a lawn chair," Chloe snorted, her voice nasal and loud enough for half the gym to hear. "She's wearing a shirt older than me. She's dressed like she wandered out of a soup kitchen," someone else said. Lena climbed into the ring, her shoes scuffing the canvas. The ropes creaked beneath her weight. She didn't pose, didn't look around, just stood there, still, centered, calm. Jason, meanwhile, played it up. He climbed into the ring, like he was entering a stage, raised his arms, bowed exaggeratedly, shadow boxed with a grin on his face. "I'm gonna teach her a little respect," he declared. "You mean you're gonna give her PTSD?" A guy near the ropes chuckled. The others laughed. Lena met Jason's eyes across the ring. There was no fear, no ego, just silence. The mockery continued. "She's the janitor's sister," someone repeated. "Or maybe a cosplay Rocky." One of the younger guys near the heavy bags asked, "Think she's trying to impress her boyfriend?" A woman with a designer hoodie chimed in. "Boyfriend, please. She looks like an extra in a student film." Every insult thrown was met with nothing. No reaction, no flinch. Lena didn't need to defend herself. She had nothing to prove to them, and that unsettled a few people. They just didn't know it yet. Kyle finished logging her name on the schedule. 1 round, 3 minutes, he announced, still half smirking. "Jason, don't kill her." Tony leaned in, patting Jason's shoulder. "Let her go a little, just enough to learn something." "She'll learn what canvas tastes like," Jason quipped. Lena stood in her corner, breathing slow, deep, measured, a few feet away. Marcus, the wiry trainer with a scar above his brow, watched her quietly. He noticed her breathing, the way she pivoted on her heels when she stretched, the slight bend in her knees. It was nothing flashy, but it wasn't beginner. He didn't say anything. Not yet. Just narrowed his eyes and folded his arms. A whistle blew from the sideline. Jason threw up his gloves, grinning like a showman. Lena raised hers, slow and steady, and the bell hadn't even rung yet. Jason came out like a bullet. Flashy, fast, loud. He threw a quick jab followed by a right cross and another jab, a textbook combination he used to rattle beginners. But Lena wasn't rattled. She didn't swing, didn't flinch. She slipped. Her feet slid like water across the canvas. Her body dipped, weaved, twisted. Her movement too quiet, too natural. Jason's punches cut the air but never found her. The crowd erupted in laughter. "She's running already," someone yelled. "Where's the punches, yoga girl?" shouted another. A bottle cap hit the mat near her foot. Not close enough to be a threat, just enough to make a point. Jason smirked. He lunged in again, launching a low jab meant to bait her. She leaned to her right, barely moving her shoulders. The jab missed. Then another punch, and another. Lena dipped, rolled, spun. "Out!" "She's scared," someone muttered near the ropes. "She's not fighting back." On the sidelines, Marcus squinted. "Hold up," he muttered, arms crossed. Derek, the trainer beside him, grinned. "She's just dancing, bro." "No," Marcus said. "Look at her feet." Derek glanced. Lena's lead foot planted firm but light. Her back heel lifted just enough to give her torque. Her torso moved independently from her hips. That wasn't dancing. That was control. Jason was getting impatient. His grin faded. "You gonna throw something or just twirl?" he barked. Lena didn't respond. She circled. Jason came at her again, this time harder. A jab, cross, uppercut, all power, all frustration. Lena ducked low, slipped the uppercut and let his glove graze air. Someone in the crowd booed. "She's wasting time." "This ain't ballet." Jason's breathing started to pick up. Lena hadn't even raised her gloves above her chin. She was reading him, tracking his shoulder line, watching his hips. "Why isn't she punching?" Chloe asked aloud. "Phone. Still recording?" "She's not even trying." "She's stalling," said Kyle. "No," Marcus whispered. "She's studying." Jason threw a wild right hook. Lena ducked, pivoted, moved like she'd been doing this since birth. Marcus leaned forward, his voice low. "That's trained defense. That's Muay Thai footwork. Clean. Too clean." Derek shook his head. "Nah. Just lucky." 3 times isn't luck," Marcus replied. Back in the ring, Jason snarled. He was done playing. "You think you're funny?" he shouted, throwing a flurry of fast punches. None connected. The crowd's tone began to shift, from mockery to confusion. Jason paused, chest heaving. Lena stood across from him, gloves still low. Not a scratch, not a bruise. Still hadn't thrown a punch. She's making him miss, someone murmured. Jason charged again, more reckless now. Still nothing connected. Lena ducked under a cross, her eyes locked on Jason's core. She's reading him, Marcus whispered, more to himself than anyone else. Like a book, Jason's footwork started to fall apart. He overcommitted on a jab, slipped, recovered. The crowd was quieting, not fully but enough. Confusion was blooming. Chloe's video caught Lena slipping a 6-punch combo without touching. The ropes, she's not scared, Chloe whispered. She's waiting. Jason's punches started coming from further back. Sloppier. His frustration bubbled in every motion. Lena still hadn't hit him, not once, and somehow she was winning. He lunged, throwing a looping hook meant to end it. Lena swayed just enough to let the blow slip past her chin. Did you see that? Someone gasped. She didn't even blink. Another trainer, silent. Until now, muttered. She's not reacting, she's predicting. Jason's chest heaved. His rhythm was gone. He bounced on his feet, trying to recover, but even his breath was uneven now. Lena stood in the center of the ring, still. She watched him. Not like prey watching a predator. Like a teacher waiting for the lesson to click. Jason launched again, shouting, swinging. And again, she moved. Smooth. Surgical. The crowd didn't know how to respond anymore. A few phones lowered. Some of the laughter stopped altogether. A strange energy crept in. Not fear, not respect, not yet, but awareness. She's something else, a woman near the mirror said. Marcus nodded slowly. She's baiting him, letting him wear himself down. She hasn't even raised her guard, Derek finally admitted. The gym was shifting. Jason knew it too. Fight back, he roared. But Lena didn't. Not yet. She was letting him reveal himself first, and the silence in the gym was growing. Jason's cheeks were flushed with frustration. Sweat trickled down his temples. His shoulders tensed like coiled springs. He'd just missed another wild cross, and now his chest was heaving. The crowd still thought they were watching a joke, just one that was taking a little too long to end. Phones hovered mid-air, waiting for that knockout moment to upload. Jason gritted his teeth. He feinted a left, then launched a brutal uppercut. His foot planted too wide. His balance shifted off-center. He overcommitted, and that was all Lena needed. Her eyes had already locked onto his hips. She pivoted. The motion was so fast it barely registered. A small, precise twist. Her right foot stepped across Jason's line of force, and her entire body rotated from the core, shoulders down through the hips, her glove cutting inward. The punch wasn't loud. It was sharp, surgical, a textbook liver hook. Her glove buried itself into the soft zone beneath Jason's ribs, between the 8th and 9th. His breath caught. His jaw slackened. His pupils dilated in an instant. He didn't fall like a sack. Wait. He folded like a man whose body had been unplugged. The silence came before he hit the canvas. It started at the ropes, then rippled through the crowd. Phones stopped recording. Chloe's live stream went black. A whisper of disbelief passed through every throat. Jason hit the ground on his knees first, then curled in slow motion. His hands instinctively reached for his side. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. The sound of the impact echoed. A deep, wet thud. The kind of punch that fight doctors remember. The kind of shot that ends careers. Lena stood over him. Still, she didn't smile. Didn't gloat. Her breathing was steady. She didn't raise her gloves to celebrate. She simply took one small step back. Tony dropped his towel. "Get in there," he shouted. Trainers leapt from the corners. Vince vaulted into the ring. "Don't touch him," he barked. "Check his breathing." Jason gasped. A short, panicked wheeze. His face turned a sickly pale green. "Shock," one of the trainers whispered. "He's in shock." No one knew what to say. Chloe's phone was still running. Frozen on the image of Jason crumpled like a paper doll. Marcus stood still, his jaw tight. That was textbook, he muttered. Perfect weight transfer. That's not something you fake. Derek finally said what everyone was thinking. Who the hell is she? Vince looked up, sweat glistening on his brow. I've seen pros land that, but not like that. She didn't even wind up. She wasn't trying to knock him out, Marcus added. She was trying to stop him. The gym was frozen. Jason lay there, still groaning. The shot had shut down. His liver. His arms didn't work right. He couldn't speak. And Lena? She waited, not to explain, not to boast. She just waited for them to catch up. Then the door creaked. An older voice broke the silence. Well, hell, the voice said. I thought I told her not to hurt the locals. Coach Mike stepped into the gym like he owned the place. His gray hair swept back, boots echoing off the polished floor. He scanned the ring, Jason on the floor. Lena, calm as still water. Mike let out a gravelly laugh. I knew that was you. The crowd turned toward him. You all don't know what just hit. You, do you? He asked, pointing to the woman standing in the ring. That's Lena Moore, he said. 3-time Northeast lightweight champion, undefeated, retired too early, and apparently still dangerous. People gasped. Someone dropped their phone. Yue? Called her names, mocked her gear, thought she was a joke. He pointed at Jason. Now he knows better. Marcus's eyes widened. The Viper? That's right, Mike said. 60 kilos of pain wrapped in cotton. Someone whispered, no way. I watched her on YouTube, a younger fighter mumbled. She beat that Irish national champ, right? Yep, Mike nodded. With one leg taped and a sprained wrist. Lena stepped back from the ring center. Still quiet, still unreadable. Tony approached the ropes, looking pale. She's the Viper? I saw the name on the sign-in, he whispered. I just thought it was a coincidence. Chloe lowered, her phone slowly, her voice barely above a whisper. We all thought she was nobody. Coach Mike's smile faded. That's the problem, ain't it? Y'all judged her before she threw a single punch. His gaze scanned the room. Look around, he said. Y'all thought swagger meant skill. That real power had to come in perfect shorts and brand new gloves. He turned back toward Lena, who now stood by the ropes, her gloves loose at her sides. She didn't come here to show off, he said. She came to feel the mat under her feet, to know she still had it. He looked back at the gym. And instead, you all made it personal. The room was still dead quiet. Jason groaned again. Vince helped him sit up, his face drenched in sweat. His pride broken deeper than his ribs. Lena didn't look at him. She didn't need to. She stepped through the ropes, dropped down with silent grace, and walked toward her bag. No one stopped her. Mike called after her once more. You still got it, Viper. You got it more than ever. Lena didn't turn. She didn't need to. As she walked toward the exit, every step she took echoed louder than Jason's punches ever had. The crowd parted without a word. No one laughed. No one recorded. And when the door clicked shut behind her, it was like the entire gym exhaled. A trainee near the back finally spoke. She dropped him with one punch. And she wasn't even mad. Another replied. Tony rubbed the back of his neck. We just got schooled. Marcus looked down at the mat where Jason had fallen. No, he said. We got humbled and nobody disagreed. Jason didn't move. His body was still curled on the canvas. The crowd stood frozen. Phones that once recorded mockery now trembled in hesitant hands. Chloe's live stream had stopped mid-laugh. No one knew what to say. No cheers. No clapping. Just a silence that wrapped around the gym like a blanket too heavy to lift. Lena stood over him, not gloating, not even acknowledging him. Her gloves still raised, her expression still unreadable. She turned, walked back to her corner, and rested. One glove on the top rope. The only sound was the creaking of the ring beneath her feet. Tony moved first, the swagger gone from his gait. His voice no longer barked orders, it rasped quietly. Someone check on Jason, he muttered. Vince climbed into the ring and knelt beside Jason, whose breath came in shallow gulps. The liver hook had shut him. Down from the inside, A perfect strike. The whisper started with Marcus. Textbook, he murmured. That was clinic level. She didn't even swing hard, Derek added, voice low. She just placed it. Around them, the room seemed to wake from a collective spell. Phones lowered. Conversations halted mid-sentence. Everyone looked at Lena like she was a stranger who had just revealed her true face. And maybe she had. Kyle stood behind the front desk, mouth slightly open, the pen he'd used to sign her name now limp in his hand. "What the hell just happened?" he asked. Chloe took a step back from the ropes, her phone still in her hand but now filming her own uneasy reflection in the mirror. Lena removed her gloves slowly, the Velcro peeling loud in the silence. Her hands were small but steady. Read from the strike but not shaking. "She's not just some woman," someone whispered. "She's something else. She's a pro." Lena didn't confirm, didn't deny. She set her gloves on the ring floor gently, like a symbol. Then she stepped through the ropes, her movements as calm as they were when she entered. The gym, once buzzing with bravado and swagger, now held its collective breath. The door opened. Coach Mike entered, his boots heavy on the polished floor. He looked at Lena, then down at Jason, still being attended to by 2 trainers. "Well," Mike said, his voice gravel in a quiet room, "I see someone just reminded y'all what respect looks like." His gaze swept the crowd, those still hiding. Behind phones, those whose smirks had vanished. "You mocked her," he said, laughed at her shoes, called her names, doubted her, and she didn't say a word, didn't need to. He pointed at Jason. "That's not just a knockout, that's a message." No one dared respond. "You know who she is now?" Mike asked, scanning the room. "That's Lena Moore, 3-time Northeast lightweight champion. They used to call her the Viper. You just found out why." Gasps rippled through the crowd. "The Viper?" Someone repeated. "I watched her fights online," a younger trainee whispered. "I thought she retired." "She did," Mike said. "Knee injury. Cost her the circuit. But it didn't take her mind, or her hands, or her pride." Lena didn't acknowledge the speech. She kept walking. Mike turned back to the gym. "And what did y'all do when she walked in? Treated her like trash. Judged her by her clothes, her age, her quiet." He paused, letting the weight of his words fill the space. "Every one of you just got outboxed, not just Jason. Every damn one of you. Nobody clapped. Nobody moved." Tony crossed his arms slowly, eyes fixed on Lena's back as she reached the locker room hallway. "I should have stopped it," he said, voice thick. "I saw her name. I thought it was just some lady." Chloe lowered her phone. "She made us all look stupid," she whispered. "And she didn't even try." One of the Cliffside elite trainees who'd mocked her earlier swallowed hard. "I called her cosplay Rocky." Marcus shook his head. "That wasn't cosplay. That was the realest thing this gym's ever seen." Another trainer added. "She didn't even break a sweat. She didn't even talk," someone else said. "She just moved." And in that silence, Lena's absence became louder than her presence. Jason was sitting up now, pale, drenched in sweat. His pride shattered far worse than his ribs. Vince helped him up, but no one offered a high five. No one filmed. No one said, "Good round." They just watched. Lena reappeared briefly, only to retrieve her gym bag. She didn't look back, didn't wave, just slung it over her shoulder and headed for the door. Before she left, she paused, turned just slightly toward the mirror. The room behind her reflected not confidence, but reckoning. "I don't care if you remember my name," she said. "Just remember what happened when you judged too fast." And then she was gone. The door shut softly behind her. The gym remained, frozen. The Bluetooth speaker in the corner, once booming Jason's warm-up playlist, now silent. Tony exhaled. "I'll be damned." Mike chuckled once. "Told you she didn't need an entrance." The transformation of the gym was quiet, organic, immediate. No one made jokes about new members that day. The fitness models stopped filming themselves mid-rep. A group of teens who'd laughed the loudest now picked up jump ropes and began to train in silence. Chloe sat on a bench near the back, eyes blank, her phone dark. Kyle scribbled something on a sticky note, then slowly crumpled it up. Jason left through the side door. No one followed. The gym didn't just learn a lesson. It absorbed it, felt it settle into the mat, the mirrors, the ropes. Silence replaced swagger, and Lena didn't have to raise her voice to make that happen. The video went online within the hour, not through an official channel. Not edited, not polished, just raw footage from Chloe's trembling hand. The caption read, "Don't judge too fast. She dropped him in one punch." It started small, a few hundred views, then 1,000. Then a local sports subreddit picked it up. Then a boxing coach in Philly retweeted it. Then a fight breakdown YouTuber did a slow-motion analysis of the liver hook, comparing it to body shot legends like Mickey Ward. Within 48 hours, it hit 4 million views, but it wasn't the punch that made it viral. It was the silence after. The moment Jason collapsed. The way Lena just stood there, calm, unreadable, precise. The way the gym, once buzzing with ego and judgment, fell into stillness. And Coach Mike's voice at the end of the clip. "That's Lena Moore, the Viper. You just found out why." Comments flooded in. She didn't fight back until she had to. That's what quiet power looks like. Every gym needs to see this. She didn't win. She revealed. At Cliffside, the aftermath settled like dust. Thick, unshakable. The once vibrant lobby was quieter now. The posters of grinning, flexing members looked suddenly out of place. The sign-in sheets filled with unfamiliar names. People who came not to pose but to learn. Jason didn't show up for 2 weeks. When he finally did, he entered through the back, hoodie up, headphones off. He kept to himself. No warm-up playlist. No shadowboxing in front of mirrors. He didn't spar. He didn't strut. He hit the bag in silence and left before anyone could approach. Marcus offered him a nod once. Jason returned it. Nothing more. Chloe deactivated her Instagram 3 days after the video went viral. She deleted every selfie from Cliffside. Word spread she started training at a women-only gym across town, somewhere she wouldn't be recognized. Kyle stopped joking at the front desk. The clipboard he used to twirl like a baton now stayed flat. The swagger was gone from his voice. One afternoon, a newcomer asked if sparring sessions were open to women. Kyle simply said, "Everyone gets the same shot now?" Coach Tony took down the Cliffside Elite wall. In its place, a new banner. Respect is earned, silence hits hard. People started training differently, less posing, more footwork drills, fewer jokes, more questions. The culture didn't just shift, it recalibrated. Coach Mike became a regular face again. He led Saturday footwork clinics, starting every session with the same words. Eyes open, mouth closed. Learn something. And Lena? She didn't come back. She didn't need to. She stayed in her quiet apartment in Queens, 3 flights up from Mime, a laundromat that always smelled like bleach. Her gloves sat on the shelf by her radiator. Her gym bag still carried the sweat and silence of that day. She never watched the video, didn't follow the comments, didn't care that she trended on Twitter under the tag Drewer Viper Returns. She wasn't built for fame. She'd walked away from it, once before. She sipped black coffee from the same chipped mug she used every morning. Outside, the city moved with its usual chaos. Sirens, heels on pavement, delivery bikes dodging yellow cabs. Inside, Lena breathed. She wasn't thinking about Jason, or Mike, or Chloe. She was thinking about how it felt to step into a ring again, how the canvas felt beneath her soles, how her body remembered before her mind caught up, the precision, the rhythm. The silence inside the chaos. She didn't return to the gym for praise. She went to see if she still belonged in that space. If the fighter inside her had survived the injury, the years, the doubt. She had, and now she knew. In another borough, a teenage girl watched the viral clip over and over. Then she begged her mother for boxing lessons. "I don't want to be famous," she said. "I want to be like her." In a forum for amateur fighters, a thread called "Don't Judge the Quiet Ones" became a pinned post. Dozens of gym coaches across the country used Lena's footage as part of onboarding new members. "Not everyone who walks in quiet is here to learn," one coach wrote. "Sometimes they're here to remind you." At Cliffside, the mirrors reflected a different gym now. No more posturing, no more open ridicule. Jason started coaching beginners. Not out of penance, but something more honest. One day, a shy girl asked if she could spar with a boy twice her size. Jason had paused, then said, "If you move like her, you'll never have to hit twice." He never mentioned her name. He didn't have to. Lena's name lingered, not shouted, whispered, a symbol, a warning, a memory stitched into the mat. Late one. Evening. Coach Mike sat at his desk reviewing sign-up forms. He paused at a name. Female, no weight listed, no phone number, just 3 words scribbled next to it. Respect, always, V. He chuckled, leaned back and said to no one in particular, "Well, maybe." Out the window, the city skyline flickered in quiet rhythm. Inside her apartment, Lena closed her eyes. Some stories need no spotlight. Some fighters only need 1 round, and some punches echo long after the crowd goes home. Cliffside Gym never forgot her. Even months later, even after new members came and old egos softened, Lena Moore, or rather, the memory of her, still lingered in every corner. Not in photos, not in trophies, not even in words, but in silence. The way the music dropped a little when a woman walked in alone. In the way no one ever laughed at thrift store shoes again. In the way eyes darted to the door each time it opened, half expecting the viper to return. She didn't. But her impact never left. The punching bag swung differently now, with intention, not noise. Trainers corrected footwork before flash. Trainees held their tongues until they earned the right to speak. And the mirror never lied. It showed them all who they were that day. Every flinch, every smirk, every joke disguised as bravado. And the moment they watched Lena drop Jason with that single surgical hook, they saw themselves behind him. Mockers, doubters, spectators who mistook silence for weakness. She didn't say much. Just 1 sentence, really. Enough to stain the air for weeks. Never judge a woman by her size. Some said she'd return, that she was watching. Others insisted she was gone for good, that she'd walked out of the gym and back into the life she preferred, the one without recognition. But none of them doubted her anymore. No one questioned her presence. No one dared call her a joke. They knew better. In one corner of the gym, the newest poster was black and white. No graphics. No logos. Just a quote. "Respect is quiet, so is power." The younger fighters read it before taping their wrists. They asked about her. Not in the loud way, but in whispers. Is it true she never fought back until he made a mistake? Is it true she landed 1 punch? Is it true she used to be champion? And the older ones just nodded. She still is, someone would say. In Queens, her apartment stayed the same. Simple, clean. Her gloves rested on the shelf. Her coffee still steamed in that chipped mug every morning. Outside, life kept moving. Inside, Lena did too, in her own quiet rhythm. Sometimes she ran early before the streets filled. Other times, she watched the sky go dark with nothing but her thoughts and the sound of a distant train. She didn't chase headlines. She didn't replay the video, because the lesson wasn't for her. It was for them. And it landed harder than any punch she ever threw. 1 punch. That's all it took to break the gym's bravado. 1 perfectly placed hook to the body that made an entire room confront itself. Because some punches don't bruise the skin. They bruise pride. They bruise perception. They bruise the idea that strength has to shout. And Lena never shouted. She just walked in, took her space, and walked out. Now, every time a new girl laces up gloves in Cliffside, someone tells her the story. They always end it the same way. She never asked for respect. She just took it. And when those girls ask what happened to the guy she dropped, the answer is simple. He's still here. He just hits the bag quieter now. If this story hit you harder than a liver shot, share it with someone who's ever been underestimated. Drop a comment. Would you get in the ring with her? And don't miss what's coming next. Another story where silence speaks louder than fame. To be continued.